And welcome everybody to another edition of the Brody File. We are glad you're with us this week, and look where we have ended up. Liberty University, the largest evangelical university in the country. And why are we here? The Donald Trump. That's right, he came here for the convocation this past week, speaking to 13,000 Liberty University students or so. He's the front runner, and he went with no prompter. You never know what's going to happen when he doesn't have the prompter. As a matter of fact, he never has the prompter, and that's what makes him, quite frankly, so endearing to so many people around the country. So what did he talk about? Here's a little sampling as he went biblical.
We're going to protect Christianity, and I can say that. I don't have to be politically correct, or we're going to protect it. You know? And I asked Jerry and I asked some of the folks, because I hear this is a major theme right here, but 2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians 3:17, that's the whole ball game. Where the Spirit of the Lord, right? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And here there is Liberty College, but Liberty University, but it is so true. You know, when you think, and that's really, is that the one? Is that the one you like? I think that's the one you like, because I loved it. And it's so representative of what's taken place. But we are going to protect Christianity. And if you look what's going on throughout the world, you look at Syria, where if you're Christian, they're chopping off heads. You look at the different places, and Christianity, it's under siege. I'm a Protestant. I'm very proud of it, Presbyterian to be exact, but I'm very proud of it, very, very proud of it. And we've got to protect, because bad things are happening.
Donald Trump invoking 2 Corinthians. He didn't say 2 Corinthians. Actually, it's something we talked to him about, and many other topics as well, when we sat down with him after the speech. Mr. Trump, good to see you again, sir.
Thank you, David.
Tell me a little bit about the speech today. Well, let's clear up something first about the speech, because already on Twitter, and even some of the campaigns are saying 2 Corinthians. You want to clear any of that up, just as?
Well, I've actually over the years heard it both ways, but I would say probably I prefer saying 2 Corinthians.
Okay.
But I've heard it as you have both ways.
Let me ask you about this line you said today, because you said this in your book as well, Crippled America, where you said we need to protect Christianity. How exactly? And what do you mean by that?
It's under siege. You look at Syria, where they're chopping heads off, and specifically of Christians and others, but specifically. And Christianity is under siege, David, as you understand very well from covering it so well. And we have to do something. We have to band together, and we have to become stronger as Christians, because it is very bad what's happening with respect to Christianity. We're not banded together properly, and we have to stick together. And whether it's very, very serious things like is happening over in the Middle East, or things such as Merry Christmas, where you don't see it anymore in stores and department stores, we have to get together and make sure it's what we want.
Let me ask you a little bit about your message to evangelicals, because Ted Cruz has his message, you have your message. As evangelicals are sifting through this in Iowa and South Carolina, other places, why do you believe you stand out over Cruz as it relates to the evangelical vote?
Well, number one, and there are lots of ways of looking at it, but beyond all else, Ronald Reagan wasn't he didn't read the Bible every day, 7 days a week. But he was a great president, and he was a great president for Christianity. And frankly, I would say that I will be a far better leader. I'll be much stronger on borders. I'll be much stronger in protecting the evangelicals. I'll be much stronger in protecting our country. And I think I'll be a much better person for evangelicals, but also for everybody else.
Iowa. Look, in your world, sometimes you may feel second place is for losers. I know you want to win Iowa, and you think you're going to win Iowa. If you did come in second place, do you still consider that something that, hey, we're going to move on from there? How do you feel about that?
Sure. I mean, we're going to certainly do that. I mean, regardless of how it comes out, we're doing really well in New Hampshire. We're doing really well in South Carolina and everywhere. Nevada, we're doing unbelievable numbers. I'd love to win Iowa, though. I'm spending a lot of time there. I have great relationships with the evangelicals and with the Tea Party and with all of the people. And we have by far the biggest crowds. And I think we're slightly winning in the polls. That's actually my closest poll. But I think we're winning in the polls. I think in a couple of cases on the CNN poll, we were winning by quite a bit. I would love to win Iowa. Remember that Iowa hasn't picked a real winner in a long time. And I'm telling the people of Iowa, come on, let's go. I'm going to win. So let's pick a winner. We have to get that off Iowa's back. But I think that I would love to be able to win Iowa.
Do you want to push back against this media narrative that they say, oh, Donald Trump doesn't like losing, so if he loses, then things are, the wheels are going to start to fall off?
We start a week later. I mean, it's very simple. I mean, I think we'll do very well in New Hampshire. I think we're going to do fantastically in South Carolina. So, we start. But I would really like to win. It would be very easy for me to say to you, oh, I just want to do well in Iowa. Then it's already taken care of. I'd love to win Iowa. We're going to see what happens, but I'd love to be able to win it.
Has this process throughout humbled you at all? In other words, what has this process done to you? What have you been going through, just maybe personally through all of this?
Well, I think not humbled. I think I'm amazed at how wonderful the people of the country are. I'm totally amazed at the intelligence levels. I mean, they can read a story and it's a false story. They know it before I do. They are really smart, really sharp, great people, and it's a movement going on. I'm telling you, every place I go, it's like this. We set the record, the all-time record at Liberty. It's a movement going on. We have an unbelievable thing happening in this country right now. People want to take back the country. They want to make America great again. I mean, my theme is Make America Great Again. That's what they want to do.
Israel. I know you were talking to the Republican Jewish Coalition a while back, and this is a tier A issue for evangelicals as it relates to support for Israel, as you know.
Right.
What about this whole embassy question? This idea that the embassies in Tel Aviv, and I know Cruz and Rubio, they have legislation.
Want Jerusalem.
What's that? Yeah, they want it in Jerusalem. What do you think about that?
I am for that 100%. We are for that 100%.
Tell me a little bit about why you believe that you will be a staunch defender of Israel exactly.
Well, I just see what's happening, and I'm so saddened by this Iran deal that it's one of the worst deals I've ever seen under any circumstances, any deals, not just deals between nations. I think it's a tremendous liability to Israel. I think it's going to lead actually to nuclear proliferation, and it's going to cause a lot of problems. I will be very good to Israel. People know that. I have so many friends from Israel. I've won so many awards from Israel. I even was the Grand Marshal for the Israeli Day Parade a number of years ago. So I will back Israel. We have a president that I think is the worst thing that's ever happened to Israel, but I'll be backing it very strongly. They're our best ally. They are our best ally in the Middle East. And they've really been loyal to us. We have not been loyal to them.
Donald Trump here on the Brody File. Of course, the Iowa caucus coming up February 1st. It's just around the corner. We're nervous. What's going to happen? Whatever. We don't care. No, we do care. We really do care. All right, coming next, Jenny in the B Block discusses prison reform. It's a big deal with millennials especially. Rand Paul and the Senate pushing it as well. We explain when we come back.
This is a national healthcare alert from the Health Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You could qualify for a pain-relieving knee brace at little or no cost to you. Get free delivery, and all the paperwork is handled by our accredited suppliers at no charge to you. If you are on Medicare and have knee pain, don't wait. You may qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost. Friendly agents are standing by 24/7 to help you. Call the Health Hotline right now for details toll-free. Our friendly representatives are standing by now to take your call. We also have other pain-relieving braces available for shoulder, ankle, and your back. You may be eligible to receive these items and more at little or no cost to you as well. Call right now for details toll-free.
Operators are standing by. Call 855-325-1699. That's 855-325-1699. Again, 855-325-1699. That's 855-325-1699.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Brody File here at Liberty University. And boy, they have done great things down here at this university. It has grown like gangbusters, or is that the expression? I don't know, Laura Crum, is that the, I don't know. We're looking it up in Google as we speak. Look, prison reform, this whole idea of sentencing guidelines and, how much people should be put away for certain crimes. For example, you steal a pizza and you're in jail? Huh? I don't get it. I need some answers. I know who has answers. Jenny in the B Block.
These are some of the most influential senators on Capitol Hill.
We come from different spots on the political spectrum.
But instead of pointing fingers at each other, they're shaking hands over a proposal to reform America's criminal justice system.
This is a bill that we can be proud of.
Too often in America, they say the punishment doesn't fit the crime, resulting in more people going to prison than need to be there.
I think you look at Matthew 25 and look at I call it Project 25. It's a clear indication that we have an opportunity to help those who have hopefully paid their price, and or we need to stop the criminalizing people that we're mad at and not people who are necessarily a threat to our society.
The senator's bill gives judges more discretion to hand out sentences below mandatory federal guidelines for nonviolent drug offenders. Inmates considered low risk to reoffend can reduce their sentences by a quarter if they go to rehab. The proposal also gets rid of the 3 strikes and you're out law that requires life sentences for some nonviolent offenses. Senators say special care was taken to ensure violent career criminals stay locked up. But when you consider 1 in 3 Americans, that's 80 million adults, have a criminal record of some kind, it's not surprising that such an unlikely group of allies is joining forces to create change.
I'm working with Republicans. We have bipartisan bills that are clearly ready to be passed.
Lance Lamons helps lead a coalition of unlikely allies pushing for reform, bringing groups like the NAACP together with the Faith and Freedom Coalition.
The fact that not only these groups have come together, but the millions of individual Americans who these groups represent, it's more than just a Washington, D.C. thing. I think it is a grassroots moving up through the channels, and now it's finally arrived in Washington.
Over the past 3 decades, the number of Americans incarcerated has increased by 500%. Incarceration is a significant budget line item, too. This year, taxpayers will spend $80 billion to keep people locked up, including a disproportionate number of minorities. And get this, an estimated 2.5 million children live in homes where at least one parent is behind bars.
Is that really how we want our children to be raised? Is this cycle something that we want to continue, or is there a way to break it? And we think that the movement that we've seen is a way to break that cycle, and I call it, breaking the cycle of incarceration and incorporating a cycle of redemption instead.
Supporters of reform give credit to Christian groups like Prison Fellowship for sounding the alarm years ago on the need for more rehabilitation.
Committing crime is not moral, but neither is over-punishing moral, and we have to find the right balance between the morality of punishment and the immorality of over-punishment.
President Obama would like to sign legislation before he leaves office. I'm Jennifer Wishon in Washington for The Brody File.
That is Jennifer Wishon here on The Brody File. All right, when we come back, we are going to delve deeper into the Syrian refugee story. It's kind of a situation that is dividing Christians. The Syrian refugee story next.
From the creators of Courageous and Fireproof comes the story that inspired audiences and became the #1 movie in America.
Lord, we need an army of believers. Raise up warriors who will fight on their knees.
Go inside the film with deleted scenes and more.
Lord, call us to battle.
This Christmas, bring home the perfect gift.
Raise them up, Lord, raise them up.
War Room, now on Blu-ray and digital. Rated PG.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
From the creators of Courageous and Fireproof.
I wish I lived at your house. Whenever my parents are together, they just fight.
This Christmas,
I'm out of town this week.
When were you going to tell me?
I just did.
Share a message of hope with the people you love.
You need to do your fighting in prayer.
The film that inspired audiences everywhere and became the #1 movie in America. War Room, now on Blu-ray and digital. Rated PG.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Brody File. All right, look, Liberty University, here we are. And of course, there are a lot of millennials. They're hip, they're college students, they're conservative, they're evangelical. And one of the big talking points, especially among millennials, or the big discussion among millennials, is what's going on in Syria with the refugees. Now, we know there are a lot of folks over there that are bad customers, but we also know there are a lot of families that want to get out of that war-torn country as well because ISIS is taking it over. So what exactly do you do in that situation? And of course, the politicians have answers, and there's answers from all over the place. Abigail Robertson reporting.
They've traveled more than 2,000 miles looking for a better life, coming by foot, trains, boats, and buses. Refugees fleeing persecution and facing hardships along the journey, only to wind up in a camp appropriately named the Jungle, where sanitation and government help are almost non-existent.
They haven't been able to come up with a very good policy in dealing with the size of the camp and the people within the camp.
Located in Calais, France, the Jungle sits a mere 20 miles from the United Kingdom, where many of the refugees living in the camp hope to resettle.
People come here as a last resort. It's 20 miles from England, and most of the people come here thought they'd be welcomed by England. And here they're stuck in suspended agony.
6,000 refugees live here in the Jungle, by far one of the worst refugee camps across France. But CBN partner Convoy of Hope is on the ground working here, planting churches and giving them necessities to try and help improve their lives.
The main problem these people have are social, physical and spiritual. And thanks to the orphans of CBN, we'll be able to provide stoves, food, ponchos, tents, all sorts of stuff.
Since the summer, the Jungle has grown from 3,000 to 6,000 people, with around 150 arriving each day.
We've been able to start our first church here in the camp. There are 18 mosques in this camp. There is one Orthodox church, and then now we actually have our first evangelical church within the camp. The first service we had about 20 people show up for service, and now they're running about 60 that attend on Saturdays.
But a church is not always welcome in a place like the Jungle. In an attempt to stop people from defacing the church tent, Convoy of Hope has built sturdier shelters around it for Christian families to live. In addition to providing a place to stay, they also offer protection for the church. But even with the shelters, life here is anything but easy.
Their living conditions are very rough. There are almost no sanitary conditions whatsoever. There are certain porta potties that are set up, but they're not cleaned very often, so sometimes it gets piled pretty high. Their showers are actually just hoses that are set up with a couple of different nozzles on them, and then people just squat down. I mean, it's in the wide open area, and people just squat down and just wash themselves.
People are allowed one shower per week, but according to one Syrian refugee, the experience is far from cleansing.
Sometimes you can stay for 1 or 2 hours, and the shower is gonna be only for 5 minutes. And sometimes you don't get your chance, and you have to wait until the second or third day.
Of the 6,000 refugees in the Jungle, only about 300 are Syrian, with others coming from North Africa and across the Middle East. One English-speaking Syrian describes the conditions he fled in his home country.
The situation there, it's become worse day after day because no one knows how it's gonna end. Because in Syria, when you go out to your house to buy something, you can't be sure if you're gonna come back or not. It's miserable there.
For these refugees, the Paris terror attack served as a painful reminder of life in their home countries.
The people here was so shocked for what happened in Paris because all of them, they came from countries who used to live the same situation.
The refugees expressed their condolences for the victims.
We are sorry, very, very sorry about what's happened in France and Europe. We are very sad about that.
Refugees we encountered understand that Western countries fear them, but insist they're victims of ISIS, not members.
Terrorism don't have a religion, don't have a nationality. It's such a sick kind of thoughts these terrorists think. It's not fair to say, oh, these people are ISIS or they are terrorists.
One British humanitarian living among those in the Jungle agrees most refugees are not threats.
They're all running from ISIS or something like it. These people are not dangerous. The majority of people here are genuine and lovely.
Convoy of Hope's Michael McNamee says Even if ISIS members are here, they too need to be reached with the gospel message.
If you were to ask me today, are there ISIS in this camp? I would not be surprised if there were, but they're in the minority. And surely the Lord that we love, that Jesus rose from the dead, loves everybody. He can also give us an opportunity to touch these people. They're in the minority, and we must not look at these extremists and forget about 97% are of the people who are in genuine need.
Convoy of Hope's church planting and aid services provide a much needed light in a very dark place.
All over this camp, Muslims are hearing about the gospel of Jesus Christ for the first time. They're desperate, they're vulnerable, they're open, they want somebody to care for them. Kindness is a language that the deaf can hear and the blind can see. And thank you, CBN, for all that you've done here and all that you're going to do. Let's give in the name of Jesus. Let's God do the work.
I'm Abigail Robertson, reporting for the Brody File.
All right, thanks, Abby. Boy, that is a controversial topic indeed. Up next, we're going to talk to millennials about the upcoming election. See you in a moment.
Are you being audited, and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Friend, do you remember when it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank to expand a business, go on vacation, or buy a new car? Well, today, withdrawing your own cash has become a very risky business, according to The Secret War, a shocking new research report. I just read it. And folks, I was amazed to learn why banks are now required to spy on us for the government and then report any suspicious or unusual behavior. I suggest you get The Secret War free. Just call the number on the screen, no charge, from the folks at Swiss America. And get this, did you know simply spending cash today may be enough to have you branded as a potential criminal? That's right. The new war on cash is really a war against all freedom-loving Americans. The Secret War is yours free, so call the number on the screen and you can tell them Pat Boone gave you the number.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Brody File here at Liberty University. Of course, we're here because Donald Trump was here. We had a chance to speak with him backstage after the event. And look, we've interviewed the Donald, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. I think we're in double digits, quite frankly. It's been since 2011. We've asked him all sorts of questions. So I decided to go Barbara Walters a little bit. I decided to go kind of like Earthy Crunchy to ask him a pretty personal question. This is my Barbara Walters question, and it's not what tree would you be, but it's close to that, which is, people. I'm curious, have you cried before? And if you have, has that been something that you've done in your life?
Well, that's even beyond to Barbara Walters. She's never asked me that question. I've been her Person of the Year or whatever it's called.
I'm just curious. I think people would wonder about that.
No, I'm not a big crier. I like to get things done. I'm not a big crier, and not somebody that goes around crying a lot, but. I know people like that. I know plenty of people that cry. They're very good people. Mm-hmm. But I have not been a big crier.
Donald Trump revealing the truth. What a shock that Donald Trump telling it like it is. All right, let's move on to millennials. It is Liberty University, college student millennials. Bernie Sanders has been here to speak. Now Donald Trump here to speak. Both doing very well in the polls. And of course, the question then becomes, what do millennials think of Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders and all these people? More on that from Amber C. Strong, standing by in the frigid Liberty University weather. Oh, it's cold out there, Amber. What do you got?
That's right, David. So we are here on a university campus listening to a presidential candidate, and it got us thinking of two things, millennials and Donald Trump. According to a new USA Today Rock the Vote poll, said an overwhelming majority of Republican millennials would vote for Donald Trump. should the primary happen today. I mean, there's no denying that if you take a look at these numbers, he's leaps and bounds ahead of the other candidates when it comes to this crucial voting bloc. So we do a lot of traveling here on The File. From Vegas to Virginia, we pop the same question to millennials. What's the deal with the Donald Trump appeal?
I am actually a very big fan of Donald Trump. I think that at this day and age, America needs someone that is going to stick it to America. His thoughts are very blatant. He just tells it like it is. He doesn't have anything hidden about him. Like they said, he is self-funded, so really there's no strings attached to Donald Trump.
He's kind of a hothead. He says what he wants to say, but he's politically incorrect, and I think that's a lot about sometimes what we need.
I respond really well to honesty and to somebody that's practical about solving problems. And somebody like Donald Trump comes along and he sees that there's a need, a craving of the American people for somebody that actually is in touch with what they want.
Now, one thing I do want to point out about that same survey, it said that an overwhelming majority of Republican millennials will support Donald Trump, but Democrat millennials tend to lean toward Bernie Sanders. Another interesting point, 60% plan to show up for the polls in 2016, making them a very powerful voting bloc indeed. David, back to you.
I love it. I love how you call it The File. You know, you're so hip. I'm like the Brody File. You're like The File. Oh, I love that. And then you point, you do all that. Anyhow, I love it. All right, back in a moment.
Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? Hi, I'm George Foreman. People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can provide patent referrals and submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-405-9884. That's 1-800-405-9884.
And welcome back, everybody, to Liberty University. Look, before we leave you, hey, Laura, Google Chrome, Steve Jacoby, the Brody File crew on the road. We got a few sights and sounds. We got to have a few things. Take a look. Big thanks to Laura, Steve, Amber, and a big thanks to myself. No, I'm just kidding. Look, we appreciate you joining us again on the Brody File. We're getting to Iowa February 1st, then New Hampshire, then Nevada, then South Carolina, then March 1st, the SEC primaries. There's so much going on. Someone hand me an Excedrin. Until next week, everybody, God bless. Have a great week.